you could go to the shittiest fucking club in Europe and the sound guys would probably kick ass because they take pride in what they fucking do.
Checkity check.
I don't know how close this has got to be to me.
Yeah, just like maybe like a fistful away or whatever. Like,
down it. How's that?
that's perfect.
Yeah, cool.
How is it for you?
Wonderful.
Actually, can you do it one more time? Just a quick check.
Check one. Syphilis.
Sweet.
John Cena.
Dirty bong water.
Oh, damn.
Sweet, dude. The last time you were on was January 3rd.
Wow.
And I think we were talking about how you guys were recording and you're, going to release your new single and stuff, and how you're itching to tour.
Yes.
And now you've just got back from a 4-date tour in Texas. Like, what was it like?
Well, I don't call it a tour, Well, I call it, it's weird. Like certain, when you're in a local band, you're like, oh, we're going on tour. And it's like, if you're from here, it's like Flagstaff and Tucson, maybe San Diego. And they're like, yeah, but I'm back at Home Depot on Monday. So tight. So I don't. And, I like to talk shit about that just because I'm an asshole. But
no, I'm that guy. I've done that before.
But when you're like a quote unquote professional touring band, I guess you can get away with it. But I still don't. Like, we did that. I call it a run. We did a short Texas run, with El Nino.
That's sick, dude. Before we get into the tour and, just what happened and things like that, from my understanding, you guys all live in different states, right?
Richie moved back beginning of the year. But yeah, Eli, our guitar player, he lives in San Diego or right outside of San Diego. And then the great Lennon Lopez lives in Taylor, Texas, right there outside of Austin.
So when a tour comes up, how do you guys prep and rehearse for a tour like that? Especially when you have to fill in, find a guitar player to fill in.
So this tour, okay, normally we don't really get to rehearse unless it's like super planned ahead, just because we just don't have, it's hard to get like coordinated to get Lennon to come out here. And when Richie was living in LA or Vegas, it was just kind of a pain. So sometimes we didn't get to rehearse. Like, I could probably count on one hand in the past 8 years, like how many times we've actually like rehearsed for a tour. Like, for recordings different, but
so maybe you guys are just practicing on your own.
Oh yeah.
And then the first show is kind of like the first time you guys are.
And we were play together for so long now that it's a rough first show, but it's better than some bands.
It comes together fast.
Yeah. I mean, not to toot our own horn, but we're good live and we will, snap into it like that. In this last case, our guitar player, Eli, could not do it, scheduling conflicts, and he had some reservations about doing it anyway, COVID related and all that. And we had this guy, Mike DeLeon, who plays with Phil Anselmo, fill in for us. He is friends with Lennon. They've been friends for a long time, playing around Texas. So he filled in for us, and you'd never guess that he'd never played with us. Like the first rehearsal we had, it sounded like we'd all been playing together forever. Like that could have been our show, and we would have been cool with it,
So before that rehearsal, do you show him the riffs, or does he just figure it out on his own?
Well, so because normally, like Eli sent him tabs if he wanted it because we played a lot of new materials. Like for those not in the know, we played 4 songs out of the 5 off our EP that's coming out. So Texas Peeps got a sneak preview of all that. Eli sent him tabs if he wanted it. And then the other songs that we didn't, like, he literally like watched YouTube videos and like watched like live things, like see how dudes' hands are moving. Mm-hmm. He's just...
Sometimes you have to do that.
Yeah.
Because,
I've done it.
Yeah. When the tabs aren't as accurate, especially online.
Yeah. And so, and like in the case of like the song, like Built to Destroy, after Drew got let go, Richie had asked him to be cool and tab it out for Eli. And, he was, mad about it. He's like, no, I'm not doing it. So Eli had to kind of do that. And then that's the same thing Mike did. He just was like, oh, okay, I see it. And, and he's just, that dude, like, we've had fill-ins before for other things. This dude, like, was, like, legit pro, like, did his fucking homework. Like I said, you would have never guessed he was not in the fucking band because everything was note for note, perfect. He fucking rules.
So during that first jam session, you guys were probably like, holy fuck.
Yeah. Like, I knew, like, my biggest thing is, like, he plays with Phil Anselmo, and the past year, and then all the stuff they're doing now, they're doing all this, like, Pantera tribute shit. So he's playing all this, like, Dimebag shit. So it's like, if you can play that, you can play our shit for sure.
What is the project that he does with Phil Anselmo?
The Phil Anselmo and the Illegals.
Oh, okay.
And, like, for the past few shows, and then, like, this tour they're doing coming up or whatever, they're doing all this, they call it their Pantera tribute set. And it's, like, all just catalog of, whatever Pantera songs Phil wants to do.
That's like a fucking dream.
Right?
Like any guitar player.
Dude, yeah. And, yeah, he...
like the ultimate cover band. Except
and especially for this dude, like, I had met him once. Well, actually, I met him twice, but it was like, we played a show. He has a death metal band in Austin. They're called Flesh Hoarder, just straight up old school death metal. And they played a couple shows with Incite, and I kind of met him in passing and, like, real quick, oh, hey, dude, what's up? Yeah. And then in Mexico City, that last show that we played, and, he's a super nice dude. But then, like, to get to know him, he's the sweetest fucking dude, You'd never... A dude of that, he's playing with, like, a legend. You can say what you want about Phil, but he's a fucking legend. And you would think he might kind of be on his high, oh, I play with Phil Anselmo, blah, blah, blah. But he's so down to earth and so humble and, like, the sweetest fucking guy. And it was really fun to jam with him and just listening to he had some really great stories. Like, it'd be cool to get him on here just so you can hear some of his, like, he had this Aaron Lewis story, the dude from Stain. Yeah. Oh my God. We were just dying. His story about Aaron Lewis and the way he tells it, because he's like this little fucking dude. He looks like Cheech Marin's little brother. He's got this huge fucking mustache.
He just fucking shreds.
Oh, dude, he's this little fucking dude, but he's like a giant. He just shreds.
Yeah, that's sick. But you guys actually were able to get together to rehearse for this one.
Yeah,
right?
because like I said, we had to. Just because we weren't sure. I mean, I was pretty comfortable, but we didn't want to, like, have our first shows back and it be kind of...
You mean because it had been so long?
Yeah. Because, we hadn't, like, just even me, Richie, and Lennon, we hadn't played together since we recorded, and that was in December.
That's different, definitely.
Yeah. And these are we were playing all new songs pretty much. Like, originally we were going to play the whole EP and a couple older songs, but one of them not every song you write is a live song per se. Like, sometimes they're just better on the record and they don't translate as well live.
And you're figuring that out as you're playing.
Yeah,
live,
exactly. Yeah. So then, and that was what was cool about getting to rehearse. We rehearsed at Mike's band's rehearsal spot, which it's like this whole thing was just wild. Only because, Mike lives in San Marcos, which is right outside of Austin. Lennon lives in Taylor, right outside of Austin, but it's 70 miles away. So we practiced for 2 rehearsals. So we had to go 70 miles, 140 round trip.
Kind of like driving to Flagstaff and
back. Yeah, to go, jam. But it was worth it. It was fun as shit. I mean, it's weird to not play on your own gear because, the room is like, like anybody's rehearsal room. They're super small. And, they've been embedded in, the rehearsal room's probably as big as this room, maybe a smidge smaller. And then with everybody's fucking gear, they're a death metal band. So he's got this monster drum kit, like fucking Derek Roddy or, somebody like that. And it's weird. And then, Mike's playing through his rig. He's got this really nice, Mesa Boogie rig. And then Lennon's got this gigantic kit, bigger than what he would play. But, all he had to do is bring a snare. And then I just got the dick sandwich. I don't know what it is about newer or younger bass players, they just are not into
tone.
I don't know if it's, I wouldn't say that because, you know, it's whatever. It's, you know, the new wave of stuff is like, oh, it's either no cabs.
Oh, because they just go direct.
Yeah, or little cabs. So I'm all excited to get to jam, and I have my head, and you know, he's like, oh, just bring your, you know, Richie, like, just bring your head. And, you know, we meet Mike. He's like, oh, yeah, come on in, guys. Everything's set up. You can run through my bass player's rig. And I look at it, and I'm like, oh, I guess I don't need my head.
Is it like a little crate? Like
it was
15 watt.
It was, to be fair, it was an Ampeg at least, but it's an Ampeg like 118 or 115 combo.
One of my questions actually is, what is your gear that you like your setup? Like, what do you normally play through?
Big rigs forever. I play through, like, in US, it's a M6 carbine, Mesa Boogie M6 carbine. It's a like 600 watt head or something like that. And then a Powerhouse 810, so a huge, gigantic refrigerator cabinet, man. Big rigs.
You guys
forever.
have bass players have the worst gear to move around because those 8x10 cabs are a bitch, especially when you have to move them upstairs.
Well, dude, and mine, because it's road cased, so that's an extra like 60 pounds on it, I think. Because I think the cab by itself, I think, is 140.
Oh, Jesus.
And then I have it cased up, which I think I'm going to take out. It's at least another 60 pounds on there. So,
my old buddy, Jay, do you know Jay Maynard?
We've met, but
he had an 8x10 cab, and his whole body's destroyed, and I'm pretty sure it's from moving that thing around.
Could be, you know. But you know what? It's one of those things. I can't be one of those. I've played direct a couple of times, and I fucking hate it.
Well, how can you hear yourself?
Yeah, that's my thing. Yeah,
you got to be able to like feel the bass.
Yeah,
like,
I want to feel that. I want to feel getting punched in the butt. You know.
I was always overkill. Me and my other guitar player, we would bring 2 4x12 cabs. So we both have full stacks.
Hell
and we'd
yeah.
be playing like fucking, you know, like some small little bar or something that we didn't even need any of that, just fucking blowing out of the water.
Every time. I'm
but
the
looking
same
back,
way.
I'm like, man, we didn't need to bring all that shit.
I remember once when I was in Autumn's End and we played at, I think it was called Sundances back then. It was that little downstairs spot, and the stage was super small, like Big Fish small. And we're like full stacks then, you know.
Yeah.
We didn't care. And we're still like, you know, if we can get away with full stacks and everything, we'll do it. You know, we don't care. Just because it's metal.
Totally, dude.
You know?
So I read on one of your posts that you had come across every mishap possible on tour. So I was wondering if you maybe get it out a little bit.
Yeah. So, you know, most tours, like I said, you know.
Hey, just really quick, I need to apologize. If you see me looking off over here or down here, I'm not disengaged. This is a one-man show. I'm just making sure we're still recording.
Oh, no worries, man. I do that shit all the time. All right. Or I'll talk to people. I'll be like looking over their head or pat. People are like, what are you looking at? And it's a bad habit I picked up. I was in drama when I was in high school, and that was like this like key thing. It's like never look anybody in the eye in the audience because you'll get thrown off. So I grew this habit of looking over their head,
even though you are still engaged.
Yeah, but I'm like, and I
do that, but I'm disengaged. And I'm just like, because I'm not listening.
Yeah, you're like, cool. You're like, that's crazy. Yeah. Cool, bro. Yeah. No way.
That's pretty much me and McClay constantly.
Yeah. So, you know, most tours, you know, 10 days to 2 weeks minimum, you know, and, you know, we'll fucking go to town, you know, we'll go out for, like, the longest run we've ever done was 10 weeks with like 3 days off in there, you know, and we're about it, you know, we're road dogs. So this was like a walk in the park, but like Richie was like, dude, this is like getting 2 years worth of fucking touring crammed into a week. Because, yeah, every little thing fucking happened. Me and him had to drive out with most of the gear. We took out a couple rows out of the van and put all our gear on my cabs, and Lennon's drums were in there, and, you know, guitars and all that shit. We drive out, and we're almost to Austin, and it starts to fucking rain really fucking bad. And then there's this weird wobble. And we're like, what the fuck? And we stop finally to like take a leak. And we look at one of the tires, and it's fucking shredded. Like you can see the belts and on the inside, all worn on the inside. And we're just like, fuck. And the spare wasn't much better. I mean, we were trying to, and so we tried to get there without having to pull this because it was raining and everything. And so we cruised into Lennon's, like, you know, on this bald ass fucking tire. Went the next day, got it fixed. Everything's cool. Then it's go to these rehearsals and they're 70 miles away, but they're fucking rad. We have a good time. But then, you know, like throughout the course of the week, like I said, yeah, just it didn't rain one day and it was like super hot and, you know, typical Texas summer, hot and fucking muggy and lots of mosquitoes, you know, just typical. But
it's like super humid there, right?
Oh, dude, yeah. Like 89, 90% humidity. So, yeah, it's gross. But we got a reprieve. Every day it was overcast, other than the one. But 2 nights or 2 times out of the 5 or whatever it was, like hurricane. Like we drove from Corpus Christi back to Austin, and we were just going to stay at Lennon's because the next show was in Austin. But getting home was like fucking scary because, like, you know, this hurricane, rain, wind, poor visibility. There's fog.
So you actually experienced the hurricane?
I've driven through a hurricane. One of the last tours we did before the pandemic.
We don't deal with that shit out here. So.
No, like, but I've driven through a legit hurricane going from Florida to New Orleans, and that was scary enough. But I felt like this was worse, and it's dark. And at one point, we took a wrong turn, and we were trying to get back onto the.
This sounds like a horror movie that you suggested to me,
right? So we take this wrong turn. Richie's looking at the map, and we're trying to get back to the road we're supposed to be on, and then it's blocked off. And then this guy pulls up in his fucking flashing light truck. It wasn't a cop, but he's like, you know, and our driver's side window is broken, so it's taped up. So anytime we like go to a border stop or, you know, have to open the door. So Richie opens the door, and the guy's like, where y'all trying to get to? And we're like, oh, he's like, we're trying to get to we're going back to Taylor. And he's like, on 35 or whatever, you know, we're like, yeah. And he's like, well, dang old man, go here. You know, he's giving us these directions. And he's like, did you get that? I'm like, I think so. Because someone died. Because you could tell it's always cordoned off a mile apart when somebody's dead. So we're like, shit. But we make it home. It was just nail biting. It took 2 extra hours to get home from Corpus Christi. And then the last day, and I always get stuck. It's always me in these like horrible weather scenarios. We're driving to Lubbock, and Richie's looking at the weather thing. He's like, fuck. And he shows it to me, and it's like almost all red. And that means all bad. You know, on these weather apps, red is danger, Will Robinson. And it's like this huge red blob with like a little bit of yellow. There's yellow at the end where you're in Lubbock. Hey, you're in Lubbock. It's fine. And we're driving, and it seems I'm like, oh my God, we're going to skate around it. I'm stoked. And then I'm like, don't talk shit, because a lot can happen in 25 miles. And sure enough, 20 miles outside of Lubbock, boom, 70-mile-an-hour winds, torrential hurricane, you know, rain. We see like funnels trying to form, and there's like hail the size of fucking silver dollars. And we're in this like teeny little town.
Is it still just you and Richie at this point in the van?
Well, yeah, because
with the gear, right?
Yeah, because Mike and Lennon had driven separate, and they were already there, or they were behind us. Yeah, they were behind us, and like I said, it's always me stuck driving in the shittiest fucking thing. And we're in this little town, and it's flooding, you know, and then we see all these people pulling into this like covered parking of some insurance. He's like, dude, pull over. He's like, everybody's pulling over, so pull over. So we pull over so that our van didn't get fucked up, because that hail was just like smashing into shit, and you see it bouncing off people's cars. And we sat there for like 20 minutes. And then everybody starts leaving. So like, well, if they're leaving, we're leaving. And it was just fucking scary. Like, you couldn't see if you hit a puddle, or you're like, I drove behind a fucking sheriff's SUV, because I'm like, well, at least he's like, I can see him. you know, because you couldn't hardly see 10 feet in front of you. And then if you splashed at all, it just coated the window, and the windshield wipers didn't do shit. So it was fucking crazy.
So most of the mishaps and stress were on, during the travel, not like during the shows.
No, there were, because like I said, it's everything, man. So then, you know, not gonna name names, but one of the bands who was not the headliner thought they were fucking just king shit, and
that's the fucking worst.
Yeah, and like when you're the headliner, you're afforded certain luxuries, like you get a dressing room, you get all this shit, and the biggest thing is, of course, you get to backline, and then if you're the headlining band, you can opt to leave your drum set up. Most drummers this day and age are cool, and if it's a big enough stage, they'll leave it up, but if it's not, most of them will take it down. Well, Dave from El Nino, he's a good dude, but he's earned it. He's got his drum set on this like crazy riser. It's like bolted to this riser. It's pretty cool how it works. So he's leaving his drums up. We get it, totally cool. Stage was big enough, but this other band decided they're leaving their drums up too.
Oh my god!
And it's like,
so where the fuck are the drums supposed to go?
Exactly. And so they had a kit that was like almost all of it was triggered, and so it was off to the side on stage left, because their snakes wouldn't reach. Like, so in a way, it was kind of fortunate that, because he probably would have had it in the middle of the stage, but every stage that we played on, the snake wasn't long enough, so he had to play off to the side. So we had to kind of work around that. And of course, Mike was super fucking pissed. Everybody was pissed.
So all the drummers had to do that.
Well, no, we got to set up normal, but keep in mind, they were in the middle. And so there were bands before them. So everyone had to set up around this stupid drum kit, except for one night. I don't know if the dude was just being cool one night, or if someone actually said, dude, take this fucking thing down. How hard can it be? Because I heard the dude say, oh, it's no big deal because it's only 3 pieces. So it was like this rack, and his fucking snare. And I'm like, you motherfucker. All this time, you know, and the
drums take up so much space.
Yes.
So when you're doing that and you have to put the drums in front of it, you're literally taking space from the singer's ability to move around.
Everybody. And, you know, but the thing is like, you cannot phase us. We have seen every little fucking thing, you know, to the point where we've played on the floor on a national fucking tour, you know. So it's like, you're still going to get stomped. And I'm not going to toot my own horn, but I'm going to toot my own horn. We kicked their ass every fucking night.
Hell yeah.
I know we did, because you could feel the energy go like this and then kind of come down a little bit, you know, but whatever. So that's, you know, that's justice. And I think we outsold the merch a couple nights with almost no merch. So there was justice.
That's sick, dude. Do you guys bring roadies or a crew, or you guys you do it all yourself?
All of.
So you even sell your own merch and stuff there?
Oh yeah, that's Richie's deal. That's his thing. Like, that's his Zen moment. Like, I think I mentioned it last time, is like, you know, like if he does, we've been on tour with a Soulfly, and if we're out with Soulfly, he does their merch too.
Oh,
yeah. And so he's doing all this shit, and it's like, I remember like early on in the band, I'm like, hey, you want me to help you with that? He's like, no, dude, I got it. He's like, I'm cool. This is my me time. And yeah, he just zones out, and he learned
to talk with fans and shit.
Oh yeah, he loves all that shit. But I mean, even just the setup and teardown of it, he's got a system down. Like, he learned from all these like big time merch dudes, you know, guys that did, you know, obscene amounts of money. Like, Soulfly did a tour with Five Finger Death Punch early on, and their merch guy was like super badass, I guess, and like taught him all these tricks. And
well, isn't that the biggest way bands make money these days? Is selling merch on tour?
Mm-hmm. For sure. That's how we make money, you know, because it sure isn't from album sales.
So that's important to say then. If you want to support your favorite bands, buy their fucking merch.
Yeah, and see, that was the thing. Like, back in the day when I used to date a certain local promoter, I've gotten into so many shows for free. but I would always try to at least buy a CD, buy a vinyl, buy a shirt off these bands, because, you know, it's like, I'm not buying a ticket, but I'm gonna at least if I'm buying merch, I know it's going straight to them, you know, and I'll tip their merch dude, because the merch dude is just trying to, you know, make money for drugs or pizza or whatever. So definitely.
Because it's obviously hard to make money off the streaming now.
Because it's piracy, you know.
I noticed on your Spotify though, there was a button for like people can donate to PayPal on Spotify. Is that something? I've never seen that before.
I don't know. I don't remember what that whole deal was.
But that's really fucking cool though.
Yeah, it was a thing where I think you could like, it went direct to our Bandcamp thing or something. You could donate. You could just donate money. Like, oh, I'm gonna drop this band $5. I'm gonna drop this band $10. I think that's what it was. I never really noticed that. I'll like put on our Spotify thing every once in a while just to kick numbers up. But I'm weird about listening to my own music. You know?
Oh, totally.
I can't do it. But I'll turn it on and like go.
It's like you listen to it while you're recording it. And you're like, but after that, it's like.
Yeah, I listen to it when I'm practicing. You know, but the cool thing, like during the pandemic shit, that was, they're still doing it, is Bandcamp will have Bandcamp Friday or whatever they call it, where the first Friday of every month, if you buy from anybody on Bandcamp, Bandcamp waives their fee. So all y'all out there.
I'm sorry, I feel like an idiot, but can you explain Bandcamp?
Bandcamp's just a website where a lot of independent bands and big bands, you know, I've never really looked for any big bands on there, but like a lot of independent bands and bands like us, you know, on smaller labels, you have your own Bandcamp page, like Facebook or whatever.
I see.
And you can stream music off it, you can sample it, and you can buy, you know, everybody's got their own, it's almost like a mini website. And
it's got like tour dates.
Yeah, tour dates, all that stuff. Merch, and you can buy, you know, merch. And so that's how bands are, you know, cutting through it. And the cool thing about Bandcamp is like I said, is like, I don't think they take a huge fee anyway, but on these Bandcamp Fridays, they waive it. So 100% goes to the band. So
yeah, so fucking buy some merch from your favorite bands. Yeah, it's important.
Or, you know, explore, man. Check out some new bands you never heard before.
Yeah, I don't mean to sound like gay and shit, but the reason why I think you guys are bad motherfuckers is because people don't realize how hard it is to be in a metal band, because you don't make it's hard to make money off of music anyway, even if you're a successful band.
Yeah.
But to be in a metal band and just to keep going, even with everything thrown at you with the pandemic, all these mishaps and shit, I fucking give you guys props, man. I love that shit. It's all about fucking consistency, you know, and you guys have that.
You have to,
and passion.
Yes.
And you guys obviously have that, and
you have to grind.
You could feel it through your guys' music. You know?
Well, yeah, and that was something I wanted to talk about real quick, because McClay touched on it, or he was going to ask me about it, but we got sidetracked goofing off about something else. He was talking about our live show, and that was something that we really take pride in. Like I said, this other band is bigger than us technically, but we fucking smoke their ass. I mean,
I gotta look them up. Right?
Yeah, I'll tell you later. But all I'm gonna say is this band, like, we put the boots to them, because, you know, bands that take us out on tour, they learn really quick. We don't take nights off. I've seen bands phone it in plenty, and that's the thing, that after all this bullshit that's happened, if I see a fucking band phone it in, I'm gonna call them.
So you're meaning that when you guys play, you're giving fucking 110%, but you see other bands faking it.
No,
not faking it, but just not giving it their all.
Yeah, because, like, you know,
that's disappointing as a fan.
That's what I'm saying, and you know,
and sometimes you, as a fan, you might not even notice that, because that's the only time you're seeing them.
Exactly.
But you're seeing them every night, so you're able to pick those things up.
But even, you know, like, if it's a band you've seen a few times, you can tell.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, granted, every band has an off night. A dude might be sick, or, you know, whatever. You know, there's technical difficulties, and you can give them a fucking pass. But you can tell when bands just kind of going through the motions. You know what I mean? And yeah, I think it's cheap, because if nothing else, this pandemic has taught some of these dudes, just like that, bye-bye. There goes your fucking revenue. There goes your way of life. There goes your outlet. And that is frustrating as hell.
Yeah, it feels like the live show is what's most important. So why wouldn't you?
Yeah, it is to me anyway. Like, there's dudes that, you know, that are like, I hate touring. I'd rather be in the studio. And then vice versa. I'm the vice versa. I would rather play a fucking shitty show than have a rockin' day in the studio. Because I'm not a studio musician. I'm a live dude, you know. I've said it before. I'm a good performer. I'm not a good musician. You know?
I love fucking recording and writing more than anything, like with other musicians. I can't say whether I like touring or not because I never got to that point in my life, but I've always wanted to. It just seems so fucking fun, you know? And
it is, but it's work. You know, people don't understand that. It's like, and you go out for a month and you either love it or you hate it. There's never anybody that's kind of like, oh, I don't mind it. It's
funny you said that because on one of your posts, I read someone commenting and you guys were going back and forth and how he said he didn't like it. And you're like, yeah, you know, it's kind of like you said, you
have to love it or you'll be miserable. And because it's not even, you know, some of the, you know, I'm sure if you're Metallica, it's fucking the best thing ever because you don't have to do shit except get up, show up and rock.
And they still have a fucking therapist that goes with them
to
make sure they get along.
You know what? I don't fault them for that. You know, people bag on them for that. But you know what? Metallica gets a lot of hate. I'm not one of them.
I'm not hating on them. I'm just
but I'm just saying, pointing out people, you know, like when the movie came out, they got so much shit for that. You know, it's like, dude, that takes balls to like let people see, you know.
You're right about that. But in my opinion, it's like, if you have to have a therapist to get along to make music, it feels like at that point, like, just you're only doing it because it's such a big brand and you're carrying on the brand. Like, personally, I would just want to quit.
Well, it like, almost came to that, you know. And I think in a lot of ways, I mean, granted, I think that's extreme, but when you're of Metallica's stature and monetary place in life, you can get away with it. Totally, you know, it's no different than Dave Mustaine having a fucking pastor on tour. That blows. I would rather fucking have my therapist. I don't want to fucking.
That's not metal at all.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. But you know, but going back to the whole like playing thing, and that's the point. Is like, especially when you're at that level, if you're not giving 110% when that's all you have to do.
Yeah, no shit.
What just happened?
Did you hear it? What?
It just like
flickered.
Well, the sound went weird, like I'm in stereo now.
Really?
Yeah, maybe
I think I'm hitting the button on this chair. Is that it?
No, that's all right. I mean, I can just hear myself
a lot better.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So it gets to the point now where you see some of these like huge bands, and it's like if you're not giving it your all, then you should quit because you're cheating people. It's like. I wanted to tell McClay, we don't fuck around. We don't fucking play wasted. You know, we might have a drink or two and smoke some weed before we play, but you're never going to really catch us wasted because it's cheating.
Yeah.
You're cheating. Even if there's 5 people, if those 5 people took their hard-earned money instead of going to the movies or buying, you know, 10 pizzas, whatever, they chose to come see you perform. You better fucking give them the show of their fucking life. And if for no other reason, just like the pandemic has shown, it could be gone tomorrow. And then what are you going to do? You know? So, and I've always like been in this band playing like I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. Like they're going to find me out and be like, oh, dude, you're out of here. So every show, it could be my last. So I'm balls to the wall. And just because we want to kick everybody's ass.
Is that pressure that you put on yourself or?
Probably a little bit, but it's just one of those things. That was the whole point of kind of me wanting to be in this band. Because, you know, originally I was just fill-in. But as the tour had gone on, I'm like, I love playing with these guys because they're like, of the same mindset. You know, you can see how hungry they are, and
it's hard to find dudes like that in a band. In a band, you're only as good as the weakest link.
Yeah.
So if fucking
and I'm the weakest link.
No, I don't mean. Well, I mean like as far as Well, I don't even know what you mean, but I'm talking about as far as like ambition.
Yeah.
like if one guy doesn't want to do shows or do this and do that, you're never going to do it. Everyone in the band has to be in 110%.
Yeah, exactly. And so we've been pretty fortunate. I mean, in instances past, certain dudes have been more about themselves than the band, but we've rectified that, and if nothing else, at the core, me, Richie, and Lennon have that. That is our, we all have that common focus and that common goal. We're just trying to dominate, and we're trying to get to that next level. We want to get to that Lamb of God level, even, let's say, where, yeah, it's not a fucking huge thing to be riding on a bus and having a guitar. Like, having a guitar tech to me would be weird.
Yeah.
Because I'm so used to doing everything, and, it's just part of my routine, so having somebody do it for me.
You have all this extra time.
Yeah, I mean, it would be cool in Europe maybe to like go see some sights, but even still, I can't imagine not being part of that process. Like, at least, like, I hate fucking sound. Maybe I'd let him do sound check, because I fucking hate sound checks. It's the fucking dumbest thing ever, unless you're the headlining band.
Can we talk about the importance of the sound guy?
We can talk about the importance of the sound guy.
Best and worst experiences maybe you've had with them.
Sure. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say this right now. Pro tip. Always be nice to the sound guy, especially if it's your own sound guy and you want to be a dick to him. I mean, whatever. But if you're having to deal with a house sound guy, be nice, even if he's being a dick, because you know what? He is the only line of defense between you and sounding like absolute dog shit. And I will say, in America, really good house sound guys are few and far between, because, most of these dudes just do it as a hobby, or, they're a friend of the club. So, oh yeah, I'll do sound, they don't take pride in what they do. In Europe, it's a big fucking deal. Like, you could go to the shittiest fucking club in Europe and the sound guys would probably kick ass, because they take pride in what they fucking do. And they want these bands to sound good. And they know that, depending on how big a band is, they could get a call and like, hey, we want you to do a tour with us if you can do it, and pay you, 10 euros a day and eat free food, whatever. But, in the States, I find that a lot of sound guys are just kind of just there to be there. They don't care. It's like, and I get it. You see a lot of fucking shitty bands. You have to listen to a lot of shitty bands. And it's kind of a thing where dudes that are in like these local bands act like they're fucking Metallica when they're not. So they're like, being divas. And it's like, dude, you're playing to 10 people. Don't.
I've been on both ends of it, because I've been in bands, but I've also been a sound guy. So I've mixed local bands who thought they were fucking.
Yeah.
I'm like literally handing them a DI box, and they wouldn't even look at me. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Shit like that. But
so, we always.
But then I've also had sound guys where I'll look and they're not even there, and they're outside smoking a cigarette.
Oh yeah, and that's what I'm talking about. It's just like, it's like they don't care, and. Like, one of my worst nightmare scenarios, we played a show with Hatebreed in Tucson, which is my hometown. And I just have the worst luck when we play in Tucson. Like, every show that we've played has just been rough. And we played with Hatebreed. The sound guy was a fucking dick. He could tell he was just like over it, didn't really want to be there. And was just like giving us a fucking hard time about every little fucking thing. And we're just trying to do a line check. It wasn't even us, it was us, Hatebreed, and Prong. So we were the opening band.
That's a sick lineup,
dude. It was so sick.
Prong and fucking Hatebreed are dope.
And so, of course, we're the opening band. So we get kind of a sound check. And we don't want to do a sound. Just give us a good line check. So we check everything. But the guy was just being so fucking difficult. And then during the show, like, our mics were going out, the monitors weren't working, and just, it was a nightmare. Like, at one point, I remember Richie, like, kicked the fucking monitor off the stage because these dudes were like getting them all tangled up, and it was just a mess. And of course, my fucking parents are there, and like a bunch of my friends. Every time we played in Tucson, it's been a nightmare.
And as a band member, you just want a good mix back from the monitor so you can hear everything, right?
Dude, at minimum, just a little. I just want to hear a little bit of what I want to hear, But
because sometimes, well, most of the time, because you guys have one guitar player, so he's on the other side of the stage most of the time, right? And you're on the other. So,
but we tend to
monitor come out.
Well, we tend to run stereo cabs, which is cool.
Oh, I see. So you have one on each side.
Yeah,
that's smart as fuck.
But it's one of those things. Some people don't realize that it may sound super killer out front, but up on stage,
nobody realizes that.
That
is two completely different mixes.
Oh yeah, it sounds like
because all the
garbage.
Speakers towards for the house are in front of the stage.
Yeah,
most of the time.
Yeah,
and then we just have, or the band members have the monitors facing towards them.
Yeah, and it's like you'd be surprised what you hear and what you don't hear.
And that's like what you said earlier is like why you'd want to bring your bass cab on there.
Oh yeah,
so you can hear your fucking self.
Oh yeah,
make that stage like vibrate a little bit with the bass.
Because you know what the funny thing is, like even when you get a sound check, it's so different when the room is full. It goes away. So that's the thing with sound checks for me. It's like unless you're like the headlining band, it's almost pointless because it's gonna change drastically when the room's full or not full or half full. And I just want to hear a little bit of certain things, and I'm good, But half the time, I don't hear shit. I don't hear shit. And it was like on this last tour we did. That was another thing. We got these like really rushed line checks because the changeovers were really fast. But like,
when you say a line check, is that just making sure it's coming through the mic? And that's it?
People are like, let me hear your bass, and you can hear it. And then you have to, can I please have some of that on my monitor, and it was weird this tour. Like, none of the sound guys were like, what do you want in your monitor? Or, give me a thumbs up or thumbs down, for more or less. It was weird. So yeah, our mixes every night were pretty horrible.
Do you guys play to a click or anything?
No.
Nice.
No.
Most every single band these days plays to some type of like computer with, synths or like a click or.
That is what makes
actually backup guitars even nowadays.
Oh yeah.
Vocals.
That is why my dude Lennon is a fucking badass, because we don't play to a fucking click. He doesn't use fucking triggers. It's just him, and we're locked into him. And sometimes he might get a little excited and push tempo a little bit, but then Richie's got his little code to get him to slow down, pony down. But that's what makes Lennon awesome. But he can play to a click like a motherfucker, That's what makes live music awesome.
Yeah. When bands aren't playing to a click, because even if it's a little faster,
sure.
Like if you buy like Sepultura's live album, the songs are a little faster compared to the regular album because they're fucking adrenaline, they're all amped up and shit, But that gives up that live feeling that
sure.
more natural,
It's like if I want to hear the record super loud, I'll stay home and crank it, It doesn't need
but
to be
like,
perfect.
so when bands play to a click these days, to me, it's like they're just playing to their fucking album,
It depends because, some dudes will still, you can kind of catch them like riding ahead of it or behind it. I don't get it. Like, I know certain drummers want to play to a click because they want to play, super clean and super precise. More power to them. My biggest thing is all the backing tracks.
Yeah.
That's fucking whack. I've been on a couple tours as of late where I was actually like shocked, surprised, and hurt that, like, oh, they're running tracks right now. Like, like you said, guitar tracks and vocal tracks. And it's like, dude, come on.
There's nothing worse than when the vocalist pulls the mic away and then you still hear like a track going. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you better like work on your lip sync a little better, cowboy, for sure.
Yeah, but it's to the point now where bands are so accustomed to doing that they don't care.
Yeah.
It's like they don't care that the audience knows that that's there,
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like standard procedure now.
It's pretty lame. But, what are you going to do? Like, I think eventually it'll come back around and guys will start ditching some of that shit. But, it's like, I understand you're doing like some of these bands are doing these complex records with like all these fucking guitars and like you said, synth and like sound things, you know, special effects on it. My biggest thing is always like, if you can't pull it off live with a keyboard player at least or something, then don't fucking do it, man. Because
I was just gonna say that actually.
You know, it's like cheating to me. You know,
it's you can do anything in the studio.
Yeah,
I can't sing for shit, but put me in a studio,
fucking
I can do some shit.
Hell yeah. You know, you're talking about the click thing. One of the coolest live experiences, I remember seeing Soundgarden open for Danzig, and they open with the song Beyond the Wheel, and it's slow as fuck. And they actually played it slower live than it was on the record, and that blew me away. Because, yeah, everybody's tendencies, you get, especially the first song, you're like, oh, yeah, you know, come out of the gate swinging, and they were just like, just super heavy and slow, and that blew my, I was like
in a good way?
Yeah, because I'm like, they're fucking badass, because that's hard to play. It's easier to play fast than play slow, you know, and controlled, you know, to me. So it was super impressive to see that, because most bands you're going to see, they're going to speed up. Like I said, adrenaline and get all hyped up, juiced up, liquored up, whatever.
Yeah. I love when bands just play live raw. It's actually hard for a sound guy to even mix those tracks, even when the drummer's controlling at the computer, you know, it just doesn't.
Well, God,
sound is natural
anymore. All these dudes got their.
I don't mean to diss on it. Even my favorite band in the world, Within the Ruins, they fucking do it. But like I said, I just love the original OG way.
Sure, and like I said, anymore, it's like all these bands come out and they almost don't even need a sound guy, or they have their own, you know, because it's like everybody's got their own. They got in-ears and clicks and, you know, all this shit. And so it's weird to me that, like, I don't know if I can play with in-ears. I understand the concept behind it, but it's weird to me. I wouldn't want to hear. I want to hear it. I want to feel it, you know.
It's like too close. Well, Jesus, it's too close.
Yeah, like this. This is, you know, it's like this, but with music in there too. That would weird me out. And then hearing nothing out here, that would weird me out.
Yeah, you need to hear the crowd and shit, right?
Yeah, I guess. Scream for me, London.
Is it possible? Excuse me. Is it possible to eat healthy and exercise while you're on tour, or is it just a shit show?
You know,
because I feel like if I ever went on tour, I feel like that would be such a huge challenge. You know.
Yeah, I think it depends on the level that you're at and then your commitment to it. Because I've been on tours where I stayed pretty consistent, at least running. But, you know, depending on where you're stopped, like I've been on tours where, you know, I'll have to like get up and climb over everybody to get out of the van. And I'm like running around a flying J, trying not to get hit by semis. Or, you know, if we've gotten to a place early enough that, you know, you kind of scope the neighborhood and you can run and stuff. But you know, I've seen dudes do it, you know, like Luna from Holy Grail. Once their trailer was emptied, he would like shut himself in it and do God knows what in there, some kind of crazy yoga routine or whatever. But
I use it as like a sauna.
Yeah. And, you know, I see dudes doing it. Like Eli, he'll find a spot to do some shit. And
what about like food wise? Like
food wise,
I feel like you just, unless you're bringing all your own shit, which obviously you're trying to save room and stuff.
When you're on a bus tour, you can kind of eat healthier because, you know, a lot of times the bus is
going to store shit.
Yeah. Because there's a refrigerator in there and cabinets and, you know, if nothing else, there's a microwave and a fucking hot kettle, you know, and you can like, a lot of times a bus will pull into a fucking Walmart parking lot or, you know, a QT, and you can like at least buy some, you know, minor groceries and like, yeah, make your own food. But well, like us, when you're in a van tour, you just kind of gotta pick and choose, pick your battles.
Yeah.
You know,
because I imagine then, I don't know, aren't you partying your ass off too?
No.
Oh, no?
I don't. And that was the other thing I was going to say. When you're in Europe, it's totally different because they feed you and they don't feed you crap. It's always like nice.
You mean the club?
Yeah. It's like usually there's catering and like certain places you just like look forward to going to because you know the catering is going to be.
Oh, that's nice, dude.
Oh, yeah. But as far as partying, I think for us, the shows are more important than partying, you know, and because, you know, we're all a little old. We're not in our 20s. We're not trying to fucking rage all night because we want to get up the next morning and kick everybody's ass.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah.
Because
Like,
I couldn't do that right now.
I'm not. And, you know, the thing is, one of us has got to drive at night. So whoever's turn it is to drive.
Oh, I see. They have to stay sober.
They have to stay sober, you know. So, you know, we might smoke weed all day, but I don't, but some other guys do all day. And it's like their maintenance routine, and that's cool. It keeps them level-headed and keeps them happy. And, you know, weed is medicine. So
yeah, but when you're in a state like Texas, I don't think they have recreational. Do you have to be aware of the laws from state to state when you're
reasonably? Yeah.
As a stoner like myself, I feel like I would be tripping out depending on where I'm at.
You just got to be careful. Like, you know, we don't, you know, drive and smoke and all that, you know, unless you're in California, you're like,
yeah, totally, yeah.
You know, whatever. But
Texas is completely different.
Yeah. Texas is a whole nother planet. That's for sure. But it's one of those things, like I said, I don't, like, we'll have a party night. This is what was funny. We were joking around about it. So El Paso was the second to last show. So that was going to be our quote unquote party night. We were going to stay in a hotel. That way we could party down and get some rest because the drive to Lubbock wasn't that long. And the day ended up being so long. And it was like this like festival thing that was just weird. The day was so long. The show didn't even get over until 12:30. And by the time it was over, like we were all sitting at the merch table, like nodding out.
Yeah, like this.
yeah. You know, it's like, but you know, like I myself, I don't drink to get drunk. I like liquor. Like I enjoy nice scotch, nice tequila, you know, nice bourbon. I want to enjoy it. So I'll have 2, maybe 3 if I'm feeling crazy. But we're talking nursing it forever, you know. And I might have a drink before we play. A stage beer, maybe, that I almost never finish. You know, we're just not that band. We like to, you know, some of the dudes like to smoke weed. And
I was going to say, you guys are more of a stoner band.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And, you know, and again, that's almost more the ritual of doing it than actually getting high, because it's like you bro down with other dudes in other bands that smoke, and you know you get the big powwow going backstage, you know, by the, you know, by everybody's bus or van or whatever at the end of the night. And that's what's cool. It's not about, oh, let's get fucking baked.
That's what I love about cannabis is it just brings people together.
Yeah. It's the ritual of smoking. It's not about getting high. It's the ritual of smoking. That's what's fucking
I like
cool.
getting high.
Sure. I'm not a big stoner, like, because remember I told you last time, I kind of put the brakes on that.
I was gonna see if you could wanted to hit that 6-footer.
No, I am not in high school anymore. That's above my pay grade.
That's actually a prop. I mean, it's real, but it's it's a prop for.
I'm not. Oh man, I'd be on the floor. Yeah,
It would make great content.
Sure. You know, I need to get Richie on here. He'll power along that. Or get Lennon. Oh, my God. Lennon would be about that.
I mean, I do have to break it in, the prop, because it has to look used.
Yeah, that's for another show. We'll get Richie in here and do that.
Hell yeah. I know what I'm talking about. Can you talk about your first show in Phoenix in 3 years, your only show in Arizona in 2021, which is the 25th annual DLo Memorial Show with Soulfly?
Hell yeah. Excited for that. Excited for the fact that it's going to be in Phoenix. We don't hardly ever play here anymore, you know, unless we're on tour. And it's the last time we played was the DLo Show. It was 3 years ago. And even then, it was weird because we shot a video and we had to play the song twice. So that kind of sucked.
You had the same crowd?
Yeah. And we had to play it twice to make sure they got all the footage they wanted.
Did you explain it to them, or were they just like...
Yeah, we said, hey, we're going to shoot a video right now, so we're going to play it twice, so bear with us and rock out. And it was fun. Like, the video came out cool. and it's really neat to see like the crowd stuff in there and the extra footage they got around during the day. But you know, I hate shooting videos and whatever.
That's not fun.
No, not usually.
Because you're just playing to the CD, right? It feels cheesy, right?
Yes,
yeah,
very. Although this new video that we did a couple of weeks ago, I think it's gonna be cool.
That's what just acting is in general when you're doing it. It does definitely feel cheesy, but ultimately in the edit, you can just make it look so fucking badass and cool. You know, so
lighting and special effects are amazing. Camera angles make things amazing. You know, like shooting this video, looking through the camera, it looks sick. You know, like we can't wait to see it.
When does it drop?
I don't know, because a lot of stuff has happened behind the scenes as of late, so everything has gotten pushed back. So that's another reason we're excited for this show, because like we were trying to get out on a tour, because originally our EP was going to drop like late September or late August, early September, and now it got pushed back until probably February, late January, February. And so we tried to get on a couple tours and everything kind of fell through. We did this, El Nino thing, and that was fun, but it was only 4 shows, and that was a tease.
So you already recorded the songs though, right?
Oh yeah, everything's in the can.
I thought I saw you guys in the studio again recently though. Are you recording new shit?
No.
Maybe I misread the post, or I don't know.
We are having...
Were you not in LA recently?
Yeah, that was for video.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we shot a video.
In a recording studio, or?
No, it was...
I don't know why I'm thinking you guys were in a recording studio recently.
I don't know.
But so how many there's like 4 or 5 songs that you guys did?
There's 5-song EP, yeah.
And one of them is the video that came out, Deadbeat, right?
Yeah, that was one, and we did that ourselves.
And then you shot another video.
And we shot another video recently, and rumor has it we might be shooting one at the show. I don't know, but yeah, the whole thing, like we don't hardly ever get to play in town. It's not like we don't just like, oh, we're going to play in Phoenix. It's like, because logistically it's just not feasible half the time. Because like I said, we got to get everybody to come from wherever. So it's exciting because, like I said, we haven't played the DLo Show it's been 3 years, because every time in the past we've been on tour somewhere else and we just couldn't get it to line up, and then this one's at the Marquee. They started having it back at the Marquee. So we haven't played at the Marquee in, I think it's 5 or 6 years. It was the last time we played there at the DLo Show. So
I can't believe it's the 25th.
I know, man. It's crazy. That is so crazy.
Do you know any of the other bands that are playing that?
So it's Soulfly, and then it's Go Ahead and Die, which is Max's new side project band with his son little Igor, the youngie, and that's pretty cool. So it's Soulfly, Go Ahead and Die, us, and then Igor's band Healing Magic. It's like they're like a 2-piece doomy grindcore thing.
Igor has the baddest YouTube channel right now where he plays drums to old Sepultura songs.
Oh no, this is little Igor.
Oh, little Igor.
Yeah, Max's youngest.
Bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. Max's youngest son. Yeah, he's not young anymore. He's like 24. I don't know, but he's still the baby. Yeah, and that's him and Max are doing this band, and it's Max, Igor, and the drummer from that band Chemists, and then they have a bass player. I don't remember who the bass player
they just released something, didn't they?
Yeah, they just dropped their record. I haven't got to listen.
I think I saw Gloria post something about that.
Yeah, I haven't got to listen to it.
I haven't listened to it.
I need to. I heard the one song. It was pretty cool. I need to listen to the rest of it. I'm behind on some shit. So it's all the, the Cavalera bands. And then the only other band I've heard is Saint Breaker is playing. And that'll be fucking cool. They're rad. They're Arizona grindcore band. They're killer.
What are they calling it?
Saint Breaker?
Saint Breaker? I don't know why I haven't heard of them before.
I don't know, but check them out.
They're fucking grindcore, dude.
Oh, they're fucking killer, man. They're good dudes. Good band. I'm excited to see them play.
Yeah, it's just exciting that shows are coming back, you know?
Yeah, we wanted on that Soulfly tour, and we got the kibosh put on it. They're like, no, we're just taking out some Bion bands or something. So, whatever. Hopefully, like I said, there's a lot of shit going on that I am not at liberty to discuss. So, things are in the works. So, hopefully, next year will be super busy.
Fuck yeah, dude.
You know, because, yeah, we need to get on the road. Like that. Like I said, this El Nino thing was a tease. Super tease.
Yeah, but it's what you guys needed to...
Dude, yeah, for real.
Work some shit out and...
Oh, yeah.
Play the new shit live.
Yes, and that was the thing, you know, like I said, it was originally we played, we're like, fuck it, let's just play all our new songs. And then in the rehearsal studio, we were playing it, and the one, we're just like, I don't know, man. Like, if we were playing a longer set, like if we were playing a headline set, you could throw it in there because it'd be a cool mood swing dynamic thing to put in there. But we wanted the set to just be pummeling. So
all bangers.
Yeah, so we just pulled it out and put something else in. And oh, yeah. And we're playing the same set, I think, at the DLo show. So it should be a ripper.
Hell yeah, dude.
I'm excited.
Fuck yeah, I'm excited to go that one. Do you have anything else that you want to, talk about or promote, or any crazy stories? Or
Oh, you know what?
I got to save some shit for our special Patreon members.
Oh.
So we'll have 10 minutes of that. But
well, if you want to save that, I have this. I wanted to talk about when we were talking about all the tour stories. Did we talk about the tree thing last time? I don't remember.
I don't remember either. Can you explain it more?
Well, so on the last big tour we did, which was with Soulfly and Unearth, it was in the winter, and we were in Portland, and we were driving through the mountains, and we're trying to get past this snowstorm. Again, I am driving.
Yeah, I don't think you told this one.
Well, I'm driving in a fucking snowstorm on a fucking mountain, and at one point, the traffic is going really like 25 miles an hour, super slow. Richie's got the window rolled down, and we're just shooting the shit, and he's smoking a cigarette, and he's like rolling the joint, right? And at one point, we're kind of like stopped, and you can hear trees cracking from the snow. And, we're rolling, and he's like, man, it would fucking suck if one of these fucking, trees crashed, broke and like hit your car, I'm like, yeah, that would fucking suck. And dude, literally 2 minutes later, we're just driving, and me and him were talking about whatever, and just wham, this fucking tree smashes our fucking windshield.
God damn, dude.
And makes the car the van fishtail a little bit. I whip it back, and he's like, dude, can you see? I'm like, kind. He's like, just keep driving. Because we didn't want to get stuck, because it was like the snow was coming down. It like, that scene in Star Wars when they go to fucking hyperspace?
Yeah.
That's what the snow looked
God
like.
Damn.
So, and we were right behind the semi, so at least it was cutting the snow a little bit, so we were trying to like follow him. But I was literally driving, looking through a thing like this. That's all, because the windshield was just spider webbed.
God damn.
And there was a chunk of tree in it. So there was a truck stop 10 miles away. So we drove 10 miles to this truck stop. We get there. It's closed. And the guy's like, oh, you guys can't come in here. And I'm like, dude, look at our windshield, man. We just need to like figure it out. He's like, oh, all right, man. Just pull around the side of the building. He's like, but you can't go in. The power's out. We're like, okay. So we park, and I'm exhausted because it's like 5 a.m. So I crawl back into my row and go to sleep. Richie told me at one point he hopped out of the van to take a leak, and snow was up to his knees.
God damn.
Yeah.
Where were we at again?
That was in Portland. We were right outside of Portland. And so then it's like 7:30, and I wake, I don't know what woke me up. Maybe just him and Lennon were talking, and Richie had been on the phone trying to get someone to come fix our windshield. And I heard him say, I hear him, he's like, dude, please. He's like, you don't understand the jam we're in. He's like, I will give you $100 over what it costs to fix the windshield if you just come out here and fix it. And the guy's like, no, sorry, I can't. The weather's too shitty. So he looks at Lenny, he's like, dude, we gotta fucking do it. We can't miss that fucking show. And he's like, let's do it. So I wake up to that, and we're driving.
No windshield?
Well, we have windshield, but it's like this little fucking...
I figured maybe you just kicked it out or something.
No. We drove though, but it was like straight Dumb and Dumber, like driving up. We're driving with our heads out the window. At one point, there was a couple times where we got stuck and we were just like spinning tires. And at one point,
God damn.
Richie's driving and this truck driver, he like knocks on our window and Richie rolls down the window back when it still worked. And he's like, "What the fuck are y'all doing up here?" He's like, "The same thing you are. We're trying to get the fuck out of here." And this other trucker took pity on us. And he had, those like kitchen, like industrial kitchen, those mats with like the little holes in them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like dishwasher mats, whatever they call them. He had a bunch of them and he was like shoving them under our tires to give us enough traction to like at least get going. Because once we were going.
And that worked?
Yeah.
It's actually a bad idea.
Yeah. Thank that guy. Oh my God. So.
There's all these unsung heroes.
There
along
always.
your journey.
there are still kind people in the world. And so we drove and we had to go 40 miles to this other little town. And because it was like 100 miles away from Portland or whatever. And we finally get there through this fucking snowstorm. The last like 10 miles, the snowplow finally passes us up and starts like plowing the road. Yeah. And that's the thing, with all this modern technology, you would think they would come up with a better system to shovel snow than a giant shovel on the front of a truck.
They should be shooting with lasers.
That's what I was just going to say. Where's the fucking heated laser thing to like fucking evaporate it all?
Yeah, like in seconds.
Yeah. But whatever. We get to this fucking town, everybody's face is frozen and our feet are wet because we had to get out and push the van, a bunch. And we left the van in this parking lot across the street from this rental car place. And that was the thing, like all of our gear at least was in the Soulfly trailer. So we were just in the van, which was fortunate. So we grabbed everything that was important. We rented this SUV and we hauled ass because we had to go from Portland to Petaluma, Northern California. And it was something like 650 miles or some bullshit. And we're like en route, just hauling ass. And the promoter kept telling Gloria, it's like, well, we could just put them on after Soulfly, and Gloria's like, no, we're not doing that. She's like, they'll be there. She's like, oh, well, I just don't want to like mess up the flow of the show and, and this and that and this and that. And she's like, because let's be realistic. Most of the people that are going to come to that show are there to see Soulfly, and maybe a handful would stick around. Even if you said, oh, Incite's playing after Soul, people, they're like, we're going home.
Yeah. We
fucking hauled ass. And poor Lennon had to pee so bad, but we couldn't stop. We could not fucking stop. And so we pull into town literally like 8 minutes before we're supposed to be on. Everybody jumps out of the fucking van. Of course it's raining. Jumps out of the van. And we're all like pissing out in the alley. And the Soulfly crew set up our gear. So bless their hearts. And we got it there right on time. Intros roll. Yeah. Oh my God. And we had a ripping show, but.
Well, that's what I was going to say is like, I'm sure you guys still gave it your all after going through all of this shit. There was not a point where you're like, what am I doing?
No,
like,
that was the reward. Yeah. Because it was packed and kids were going bonk. They were just going bonkers, It was worth it. Sometimes it might not seem like it's worth it, but when you have shows like that, it makes it worth it for sure.
It seems like one of the most stressful parts of going on tour, obviously the traveling, but just worrying about the gear and the gear being safe.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like someone's always got to be by the van, or even when you're in the club, like even when you set your shit off to the side, like sure. I never like to leave that area because there's so many fucking thieves and shit.
To be fair, and the thing that's nice is a lot of the clubs, especially like the clubs we played out here in Texas, there was always someone that was their job.
Okay.
Watch gear. Make sure no one's walking off with
I guess I'm thinking of it from a local band perspective, sure. You know what I mean? When you just leave your shit on the side.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to do that.
And I still, I'm like that. Like, don't touch my stuff. Don't put your stuff on my stuff. And like, I've had to like put the smackdown on local bands because, like, I remember during a show once, this dude had his fucking beers on my cabinet.
Yeah, that's a no-no.
And I'm like, just standing there with my arms crossed, like right in front of him, just looking at him, like giving him death stare. And finally, he's like, dude, what's up? I'm like, get your fucking drinks off my rig. That is not a fucking coaster. And then after they were done, I went up to him. I was like, dude, I know you didn't mean anything by it. I'm like, but future reference, don't fucking do that. I'm like, because the shit's expensive. Not saying anything's going to happen, but I don't think you want to pay for it if it fucking does. You know, put it on your own fucking rig.
Yeah, no shit.
You know, like, fuck you.
That's very disrespectful.
Yeah.
People don't realize, like, how much you put into, like, your gear. And, I mean, at least for me personally, like, it started from, like, a little 15-watt crate amp. Sure. I had to build up to where I got my fucking shit eventually. So, like, I take pride in it, you know?
But
like,
what makes it even worse is, like, these are other band dudes.
Exactly. So you think that they would
know better, right? But no. Fucking kids, man.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Yeah. Well, I had a couple more questions for you. I was going to save for the special Patreon members and shit. I don't know if you wanted to say your social media and shit real quick.
Oh, Life and Times of St. L. That's my artist page on Facebook. The Life and Times of St. L. And then
we got to plug your tattoo shop.
Yeah, Mastodon custom piercing and custom tattoo. It's in Mesa on University in Dobson, open 6 days a week. It's pretty tight. And contrary to popular belief, we are open, but you know, our owner's been real like cautious. Like after the lockdown, like we've been open whenever, what was that, May or whatever, when we could open. But we've been operating like, it looks like if you drove by, you'd think it was closed because we don't have the open sign on. The door's locked. You got to wear a mask, all that other.
So it's like by appointment only?
And it's by appointment only. You can still walk in. You just got to call and say, hey, I want to walk in, you know. But so, yeah, we're open. I'm open.
One of these days I'd like to make it down there and check it out. It seems dope.
It is. Well, I mean, it's, to be honest, not much to look at because it's not like a street shop. So you don't, you know, you walk in, there's not like flash everywhere. We just got nice art pieces on the wall. And then it's a cool shop, though. You know, it's like very homey. Everybody's got their own semi-private, you know, workspace. And that's where all the cool shit, because everybody decorates it how they want, you know.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's cool. So, yeah, we are open every day except Sunday, 12 to 7. Come on down and let's get pretty.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, I really appreciate you, you know, taking the time to come on again.
Oh, yeah.
Man. I love fucking hearing all these stories and shit. So.
Oh, wait till I tell you this one for the extras.
All right, cool, man. Yeah, so if you want to get the extra exclusive bonus content, make sure to join at patreon.com/the Bogcast. So thanks again, Christopher L.
Bang!